Hey everybody, welcome to another great episode of Static Shift Resonant Frequency. My name is Rob Sogamoni and I'm located in the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm one of the founding members of Articulate Studios and here introducing the rest of the group who is here for tonight's episode. Now, this particular Static Shift episode didn't have as many cast members in it, although it did have one who, as we've mentioned a couple times before on this podcast, can't be with us due to a couple of personal reasons, which we're not going to get into. But Marcus Roberts is not able to join us for our Resonant Frequencies. We wish him all the best, and we're hoping that he's doing very well. But I will go ahead and throw it to Queen Tiffany to introduce herself first this week. Tiffany, hi, who are you? And tell us a little bit about you.
Hi. Tiffany Magnuson, voice actor, the things. I am in the Pacific Northwest, up in the Portland area, and looking forward to the fall weather. It's so nice. Nice foggy morning. It was so beautiful. I do voice acting among other things. But I've introduced myself so many times now.
Well, the reason that we do this is just in case somebody decides to check out one of these episodes, partway through the season, they have no idea who we are. Maybe they've listened to one or two episodes of Static Shift and they're like, oh, this would be kind of cool to get some behind the scenes info. And then we're just sitting here talking about it and they're like, oh, I don't know who this person is. So, I figured just like a quick intro is just nice,
Oh, well, then I will give it an accreditation. I am an award-winning audiobook narrator.
There you go.
I have over 40, almost 50 audiobooks under my belt at this point, many more in the pipeline. And I really enjoy doing more character work and short form stuff, although audiobooks is where my money's at. So...
I actually really enjoy doing audiobooks. You're right. They're not very lucrative, but they're fun to do for me. I love them.
It helps me work on some of my characters, actually.
Absolutely. So. And the differentiation. And maybe we'll get into this a little bit later in this episode, but I want to come back to that. Aaron Zakowski, why don't you introduce yourself to us?
To the south of the Ocala National Forest, in a little redneck community, you will find a founder of Articulate. His name is A.A. Ron. And he dwells in his little closet booth as he reads all the audiobooks, tries to get in on all the character work, and sure as hell puts 70-plus hours into the audio dramas that we do, for the love of God. Hello, everybody. I am Florida Man, and I am so happy to be here once again. Jason.
That was an amazing intro, Aaron. Good job.
He's been working on it.
For about 30 seconds.
I love it. And Jason, last but not least, Jason Tibor, the showrunner, the creative director, the, dare I say it, deity
the maestro
of Static Shift, is here as well. Jason, why don't you introduce yourself and let the people at home know who you are and what you do.
Yeah, my name is Jason, and I like to go into a little shack in the woods in the Pacific Northwest and write and record scary and creepy things.
I love it. So we had an amazing episode of Resonant Frequency last week. We had, 7 or 8 of us on here? I think it was 7 of us. We're on talking about our Halloween episode, My Friend Sally, which is what we call a beat frequency episode, which is, an episode that's just a little bit off the main path, right? You got your main frequency and you've got your shifted over frequency, if you will, our beat frequency. Now we're back on the main track. Now we're back going into the kind of narrative of Static Shift, the canon, if you will. Technically, Sally is canon, but it's just off the canon a bit. But in this episode, we are introduced to a couple of new characters. We have Levi, we have Jansen, we have William, who the episode is actually titled after. Jason, where is this taking us?
I think the short answer to that is it's taking us much deeper into the world of Static Shift. And we're getting a little bit closer to, maybe you could call it the core of what this story is all about.
I love it. One of the things that I like about this particular episode is that Aaron has one of the most important characters in all of Static Shift.
Absolutely.
and I don't know how you're going to tie this loose thread up. And I've got my own little theory craft around how some of this is going to come back into play. But Aaron, why don't you tell us a little bit about your character in this episode and how he is the most pivotal character in all of Static Shift?
He may be short-lived, but the hot dog vendor, let's just camp there for a second. We have no idea where he came from, why he's there outside of hot dogs. More importantly, what his goals and ambitions are. But my God, that one line he's got, I would dare say it is the thread that ties the entire episode together.
I would agree with you.
I mean, let's camp on Mr. William for a second. Okay? He comes into the story. He audibly is paranoid as freak.
Yeah.
And rightfully so, because this hot dog vendor, he's on to his game. He knows what's up. All dogs point to William Ackers. I'm done. I'll see myself out. No, but for real, let's camp on Mr. Ackers for a few, because, oh my gosh.
Marcus did a great job voicing him and giving him kind of that paranoid, frenetic speech cadence, and I don't really know what's going on. And yeah, it really came across as him being, but not just a paranoid schizophrenic, paranoid because he's seen some shit, right? He you can tell that he has had experiences. He's contributed to some experiences that have kind of affected his psyche in a way where he can't just exist anymore. He's constantly looking over his shoulder, checking his hot dog bun to make sure that there's no sauerkraut in that thing. But yeah, William is an amazing character. I really, really enjoyed listening to Marcus's performance of this.
The vibe I get from his performance with Mr. Ackers is I get this feeling like Mr. Ackers believes there's no redemption. He believes there's just no going back at this point.
Right.
Visually, he strikes me as probably a 60-plus-year-old guy. He's had lots of ups in his life, lots and lots of ups, big victories, a few downs, and then it kind of just all hit the fan, and now he just doesn't even, he almost goes Bobby Fischer on us,
Yeah.
And then upon the rediscovery, it's like, oh crap, now my life really is over. Almost like Doc Brown, I don't know how they found me. Run for it, Marty. That's the vibe I'm getting from William. And my God, man, Marcus just nailed it.
Yeah, almost as if he was kind of waiting for something to happen to him, too. He had kind of probably had nightmares and things that kind of were back in his anxiety-riddled brain that this could happen someday. But then he found himself in this situation and was still, flabbergasted. Didn't know what to say, didn't know what was going on, and probably was hoping that this would never happen.
100%
right?
agree. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and as the guy who wrote the thing, this character was still very much in the formative stages when this episode was written, and this is a case of real life intruding into art. As we mentioned, Marcus has had to take a step back from voice acting for the time being. Originally, this character was going to be featured heavily in the remainder of the season. So that was a point where I had to pivot. Now, I will say that the character will still factor into the story, even if we don't hear directly from him going forward. So I sort of found a way to honor that. But what I will say, and I think this is really a tribute to this performance, is exactly what all three of you have been saying about Marcus's performance. There's really a lot of depth and a lot of nuance there. And when I heard him perform these lines, I had the outline, I had the skeleton, but once I heard Marcus play this character, okay, then it became, this is a real person now. Like, I could see the form, and I could see the expressions on this character's face when he was saying these lines. I could see the pain and the betrayal and the hopelessness at times. So that in turn really kind of worked to inform all the episodes that will follow this. So I don't think I can overstate how important a character this is.
Very cool. It definitely, we can feel that it's setting us up for something that is coming on the horizon. Whether we're going to even wrap it up or get to it in this season, I don't need an answer, but whether it's going to happen now...
You wouldn't get one. That's okay.
Perfect. Or whether it's going to happen in season 2 or season 3, right? I mean, this might be a long game where we don't really figure out what's going on until the end of the road, which would be pretty exciting, I think, because it's a great setup. Now we start the episode, of course, with the DJ bringing us into the world and telling us a little bit about, some of the stars maybe not being there anymore. But we then get into Celeste Piedmont and Levi Jansen talking about going and finding this William Ackers, who's kind of gone on the lam, it seems. And Celeste Piedmont seems like she's the one who's in control. Tiffany, great job. Fantastic job with that. And Jansen's kind of her lackey, muscle guy. Which is kind of cool. I do like playing the muscle. But Tiffany, tell me a little bit about where you came from when you were kind of putting together Celeste Piedmont.
Celeste is actually really interesting. She came out of a script workout, and there was a script that was posted. Jason, I think it might have been your script, but there was a script that was posted, and I'm like, I hear this in this voice, and I recorded it, and I sent it to Jason, and he's like, oh my God.
This needs to be a character in Static Shift was my exact reaction.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so we kind of, we were even spitballing about the name of what this character should be. Like, what's the name of this person?
Well, one thing I would like to point out is in the script, it's actually Cecilia Piedmont. But in the actual dialogue, it's Celeste.
It's Celeste, yes. Yeah, so Jason and I were kind of going back and forth on what this person should be named. And, we kind of came up with the Celeste, because she's just like this socialite. She's just kind of like bigger than everybody else, like better than everybody else. And she gets what she wants, right? And everything else is just annoying. So that's where her voice came from.
I like it. Now, Jason, which came first, the script practice or the Celeste?
The script practice, for sure.
So this episode was written after you got the voice, and you're like, this would be a cool character to include in Static Shift.
This was a minute ago or two now, but I believe that's exactly how it was. I had a general idea for this episode, and basically I knew I needed something to happen to the William Ackers character. The details at that time were a little bit fuzzy on that. So then I hear this voice and the pieces just fell into place. It was like, okay. And then I could see the scene in my head where she's, standing in front of this really opulent desk, and poor William is sitting bewildered and frightened on a chair, and, his hands are bound behind his back or whatever. And that's just basically the entire episode flowed from that. And one other thing. We might dive into that in a second.
I still have the original recording I sent to Jason for that character. I still have it.
Cool.
Yeah.
The one that came from script practice is what you're saying.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Very cool. Very cool. I also like the fact that we have a callback to both Blackwood Manor and Number Station, where they're talking about two people who have families, who have people who are going to look for them. Jamie and Chris disappear. And so it's just kind of like, okay, so now we're kind of seeing some of the fallout from those earlier episodes becoming a thing in the world, and people actually being concerned that, oops, like we kind of messed up here, and now we got to cover our tracks a little bit more. Which I love it when we have long arcs and things called back, but sometimes things are like mentioned or dropped and then totally forgotten too. So even just having a callback more or less in the middle of the season is really fun. I love when things kind of tie together like that. I do have a question though.
Yes.
Going back to the hot dog vendor, the most important character in
Let's get back
series.
To
that. William Ackers actually purchases and accepts possession of his hot dog, and then he gets black bagged. Right? Car drives up, excuse me, Mr. Ackers, you're going to be coming with us because we have somebody who wants to talk to you, kind of paraphrasing it. And I'm curious, did he even get a bite of his hot dog?
No, he didn't.
Damn.
In the director's cut that will definitely come out someday, you hear the sound of a mutt, a lovable-looking mutt, sort of scurrying up the sidewalk after they nab William, and then the dog enjoys the food. And by the way, I just want to point out, they're not really hot dogs.
Okay, I gotcha.
For legal reasons.
What's in the hot dog? Are
They're
they
not-
brats?
Well, they're not hot dogs.
Oh.
Yes, they are definitely, they don't have a first name or a last name.
They're delicious.
I'm curious. After the dog enjoyed the food,
Well, food.
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
Quotes,
What
yes.
happened to the dog then?
Did they disappear? That's the question.
Yes.
I just had a vision.
Disappear in the sense of like a weird like happening disappearance, or like a natural consequence of eating something they shouldn't. Like
No, it's the first one, but it for sure could have been the second one. But no, it's a weird interdimensional disappearing.
so now there's a dog with Jamie and Chris.
Well, I thought they'd want a pal, right?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
An emotional support animal.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's really it ties into the alternate dimension version of Static Shift. It's all about the power of friendship.
Yes, I'm sure that this is all about the power
And the
of friendship.
memories we make along the way. Oh, no, sorry.
Exactly.
Aw.
I do have a question about something that was kind of flaggy in the episode. It's pointed out by Celeste's character that there's a nephew involved.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I find that interesting because we're not playing with wife or son or daughter or brother or sister, right? It's nephew. Are we going to get into... Is there a possibility we'll be delving into Mr. Ackers' family in the near future and why it's a nephew and not a closer relative?
Well, I think the connection you're looking for is would go back to episode 1.
Haha.
Rob feels
That
liberated.
is so well timed.
Rob feels so liberated right now. He's like, one of my theories works.
Which one of those kids is his nephew?
It might have been the one who's talking about an uncle in
Might have
episode
been.
1.
Might have been. I love it. Uncle Larry.
How did I not put those together? Like how? Like
Well-
it's right there. It's right there.
So,
Because I'm stupid enough to miss it. That's probably why.
Well, I missed it too. I didn't catch that. I thought the two boys got vanished, and Jamie was still in the real, the prime reality.
Right, and I thought the other way around.
Well, I think the other way around is actually what happened. But my theory crafting is it knows no bounds. But is Larry a pseudonym or a abbreviation for William?
So there's Celeste Piedmont.
Lawrence, Mr. William Lawrence Ackers. Oh
There you go.
my God,
Dude!
you son of a
Dun, dun.
Wow, a year later. A year. A year.
you son of a
Jason.
not hot dog.
We've got Easter eggs we didn't even know about, and we're doing it.
God, they're rotten eggs now.
How did my theory?
No, these
crafting
eggs
miss
only
that?
get better with time.
Clearly.
I'm sorry, Rob. What was that?
I said, how did my theory crafting miss that?
It's
I don't know.
The biggest clues are the ones hiding in plain sight.
Yes, they are. That's amazing. No, I did not realize that. That's fantastic.
Oh my God, that's going to make next week's podcast even better now that we know this stuff.
Good.
Stay tuned.
Good question, Aaron. That was a great question.
Well, I think I've talked about like Breaking Bad, Vince Gilligan, on this very podcast before. But there are TV shows, movies. Chris Nolan is another one where there's a craft where you can present something so clearly and not ever call attention to it. And I love that so much. Like when I find that in a story, whether it's in a novel form or on a TV show or a movie or whatever it is, but when there's a narrative that can use those kind of devices, it literally works differently, or it works on different parts of your brain simultaneously, because it's more complex and it requires like more processing power to put these pieces together. But when you put them together, there's that feeling of, there it is. And I love that so much from a fan or a media consumer perspective. And that's the kind of stuff that I want to do with Static Shift. So I can say, if you enjoyed that, keep paying attention, because there are definitely other things.
This feels like one of those puzzles that isn't just regular puzzle pieces. It's actually like shapes and like animals and stuff.
And in 3 dimensions.
Yeah, where you're like, okay, where does this bird go in this huge puzzle, right? It's this one piece. But then once it fits. And it's like, this is where this is supposed to be. But like you said, it tugs on different parts of your brain. And I think that a lot of people are so used to the templated pattern of how stories are told. And I've even, as I've gotten older, I never used to pay attention to it. But as I got older, I was like, oh, okay, I know how this story is going to go. It's going to be this, 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 and this. We'll have a nice, tidy ending, and everything's going to be fine. Right? So,
yes.
And that's usually how I got through horror films when I was a kid. I'm like, okay, this is going to end this way, and everything is going to be fine? ? I don't know, probably. But that's how I got through it, because I knew the end was going to be tidy, mostly.
Right.
This isn't doing that, and I think a lot of people are really enjoying that with this storyline and how this is progressing.
I call the television version of that Screenwriting 101, because it's hard to write a serial television show. It's legitimately difficult to come up with new avenues to explore, new ways to do things. Some shows like Breaking Bad they do it really well. They make it so that things tie together. You don't get to the destination you think you're going to get to. It keeps you engaged. For me, one of the biggest reasons I don't watch very much TV other than like comedy is just because it is so formulaic. And I've got an example of that. My ex-wife loved Lost. Loved it. She thought it was like the best show on television, and I had never seen it because I didn't watch much TV as a like high schooler through college. I kind of was more into video games, more into storytelling, entertainment, interactive entertainment, movies. Even though movies are super formulaic, I for some reason enjoy them. I'll deal with a 2-hour movie that's the same as something else much more than I will with a TV show. And she finally convinced me to watch Lost. And first episode, I was like, oh, this is going to happen at the end. And she's like, how did you know that? And I was like, well, I mean, here's the setup. Here's how it's going to go. And she's like, okay, well, it's going to get better. You're not going to guess, like, we're going to be halfway through the season. You're not going to guess it. Well, guess the second, guess the third, guess the fourth, guess the fifth. And then she basically was just like, I can't watch this with you anymore because you're stealing my happy. And I was like, I don't mean to. Like, I'm not. And I wasn't calling it to be a dick. Legitimately, I was just like, here's what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. I wasn't being like, I'm going to spoil your fun. I was able to, like, the episode where, well, I'm not going to get into specifics, but there's an episode where there's a twist at the end and they find some bodies buried under the sand. And I was like, oh, those 2 people are dead. They're going to be buried somewhere on the beach, like halfway through the episode. And she's like, what the fuck? I was like, I'm sorry. Like, they set it up, like, this is like straight setup for that. Like, I can't not see that. And so, yeah, that was she was not very happy with me. But what I do want to talk about are the aha moments, or at least what you're talking about, where the dots connect and you start to see the picture. And it's, having experienced that through like Breaking Bad and shows like that, I tie it to being like an aha moment. When you're learning something in a class, you're not really understanding how this math works, you're not really understanding how this conversation's supposed to go or whatever, and then somebody says something to make it all click, and you're like, oh, but it's a different kind of oh. Like, the one is like, okay, cool, now I get it, I understand, great, now I can move forward with whatever I'm learning, whatever my next, level of achievement is or whatever. But when you get those aha moments in consuming media or entertainment, it's like a whole nother level of, oh my God! Like, so I love it.
Well, right.
Long-winded story to say I love it.
And I think the right way to do those things is to make sure that the aha moment, that it has resonance and consequence. Because that guy is actually a bad guy, this means that this person can't trust anything that they've said before. And there are steps and steps and steps and steps. And your brain puts it all together in microseconds.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this thing means these, 37 different branching possibilities. And that all happens so fast. And
you just got to watch it happen to 3 of us live on this podcast. So how was that, Jason?
And now you know why I don't do extended plot discussions when we're recording.
No, 100%. I understand that anyway, but it's always
also
fun to
we
try
don't have time. We just don't have time to do that.
Yeah, but it is fun to try and tease them out of you. I'm just gonna say.
Oh yeah, no, I also enjoy the process.
It's also kind of nice when you see something, you find something like that, and it's like, okay, now what else was I missing? Because if I just got that, like, what? Well, what else was going on?
And I think that, like, the second episode of this, Resonant Frequency, or the third episode, I don't remember which episode, I mentioned that, like, leading up to our release, I'd listened to them all the way through, like, all of the episodes that we had produced, like, 10 times before we actually got to releasing the official version of Blackwood Manor. And it's because every time I'd go through, I'd hear something and I'd be like, oh, and then I'd go back and I'd want to listen back through it with that new lens in place. And that's how my theory crafting goes too. So I'm just like, I wonder if, Anyway, it's I love it. It's so much fun.
And that for me that's really gratifying to hear. And going back to teasing plot points out of me and keeping things a little bit close to my chest, there is something other than me being a smug asshole about it. Why I do that? I want you guys to experience the story. Like like to me, it's not interesting at all if I just like dictate to you, here's what everything is, here's what everything means. I want to give you enough to let you breathe your life into it, and then experience the story as a story. Like if I can do that for you, because like to be able to give you that experience, just that is like that's why I do this. That's why I want to do this, because really, like my goal with this project with Static Shift is for it to exist, for people to be able to find it, and when people do listen to it, they feel like their time was well spent.
Yeah.
Like I got something out of this. This gave my brain something to chew on or whatever it is, but I want to bring some kind of tangible value to people through this.
And
That's my goal.
For the record, I want to say the only time you come across as a smug asshole is when you're the DJ in Static Shift, because he obviously knows probably more than you do as the showrunner. And
it's quite possibly true. He knows a lot.
So the next scene that we kind of get into, I know that the hot dog vendor is somewhere in the background, the food with quotes vendor is somewhere in the background. I imagine since we're kind of getting into an interrogation sequence where Piedmont is interrogating Ackers about some of the stuff that he had been working on, is there a form of torture that involves a sausage that you know of, Aaron?
What?
I mean, I assume that Piedmont is that kind of a person. If he's not going to talk, she's gonna find ways to make him talk, right?
No, there actually is torture involving the product that the vendor sells. It's denying William his food. That's the torture.
So
Tiffany,
this is like having a hot dog on a stick, Aaron?
Tiffany, I'm going to need you to invoke your powers as queen to steer this back in the right direction, please.
What? I didn't say wiener torture. I said sausage torture.
I mean, you're alluding to the same thing.
No,
and honestly,
I'm not. I'm legit like my brain is thinking waterboarding, but sausage boarding, and I couldn't think of a funny way to say it.
Sausages are bigger than hot dogs anyway. So anyway, no.
So you're saying size? I'm not going to get. Never mind. We're not going there. All right. So, plus I want Aaron to contribute to the conversation.
Do you want to know what's dropping faster than my weight? Our subscribers.
No.
If we don't get this back on track.
No, they're loving this.
No, please come back.
There's always a chance for us to drop another aha moment, so they're going to be here forever.
So you have to ask the sausage questions.
Hold on.
I had to ask
So
the sausage
speaking of aha moments, that's another question I have for Jason. Where we can kind of start connecting episodes. I want to return to episode 3 for a moment, where Matt and Jer were having their eyes and ears on the gala, and the doctor and Mr. Gardner were having that conversation about utilization of the delivery, and then the discussion of what was in their hands then occurred, which, if we recall, that discussion had to do with a factory / school / kid. Now, it occurs to me during this investigation, it was brought up the subject of a youth, a young person. Do those things connect?
I can't.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's significance there.
Gotcha.
There's significance there, I think, is the best way to answer that. Yes. So good eye and or ear, I guess it would be.
That's the reason why I keep alluding to the fact that I believe that out of all the episodes thus far, plus what we've heard as background people, episode 3 does not come without consequences. I still believe that episode 3 is the most consequential episode. The build up to where it's like, okay, now we can start asking questions. Like, because
Yeah.
I mean, I just get the feeling that Matt and Jer saw way more than they bargained for because it runs so deep.
Well, I think the whole thing is way more than what people bargained for, right? There's been mismanagement. I mean, that's alluded to when Petrovich is like, "You guys have effed this up. Like, you've already screwed up. Like, this is under my control now. You guys are screwing this up." So there's people that are in over their depth already. So yeah, I don't doubt that Matt and Jer saw some things that were beyond what were alluded to in the conversation.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. It's I have to kind of put all the knowledge of episodes that are like currently in production in a different room for a second. But yeah, I think, Aaron, what you said about this episode being consequential is 100% true. And I think at this point in the story, like, let's say when you get done with episode 4 and you think back to episode 3, you're like, some things are starting to connect. I think that process, maybe not as much with episode 5, starting with episode 6, you will be expressing that same sentiment again, that episode 3 is very consequential for entirely different reasons.
Love that. It's time for Rob's theory crafting again.
All right, here we go.
Episode 3 being the most consequential episode in the series thus far. Who catered the gala? Was it the hot dog vendor? I think so.
No, he was supposed to.
He ran out of Little Smokies? Is that what happened?
Well, yeah, see, he went to pick up his order, and it was gone.
No, it disappeared. Why?
Yep. Inside job is what it looks like.
Dang it.
Wow.
I have our Articulate mommy on speed dial. Don't make me call her. I will call her. She will.
And everybody knows what a Little Smoky is, right? Like, just for anybody who doesn't, who might be listening out there in Radio Land, it's a cocktail weenie. Yeah, they're
tiny.
They're very delicious.
Little bite-sized snack.
Yes.
It goes great in barbecue sauce.
100%. And if you wrap them in croissant wrap and then bake them, you get a little weenie, little crunchy weenie wrap.
Hot dog
They're
bite,
great.
yes.
Yeah, so good. And since he's a food, quote unquote, sausage shaped meat vendor, since I can't say hot dog anymore, I figured a Little Smoky would be something that would be fitting at a gala. So
okay, so the title of this episode is Theories and
Weenies.
Sausages.
Yeah.
That's the subtitle. That's the parenthetical.
Mm.
It's like William, and then all that stuff in the
Theories and
parentheses.
Sausages.
I love it.
Yes.
I did really quickly want to touch on the fact that we are now getting into territory where we, as the voice actors of Static Shift, are now starting to play multiple characters who are unique individual characters. In the first episode, I play Male Teen 1. In the second episode, I play, I can't remember the character's name, but a different, unique character who is now an older gentleman helping build a radio. Episode 3, I play a different character. In Sally, I play a scientist at the end. In this character, I'm playing a totally separate character who's kind of an assistant to Celeste Piedmont. Tiffany has played Jamie. She's played a different character she played in episode 2. You're not in episode 2, are you? But you are in episode 3 as Dr. Petrovich. And
now Celeste.
And we're not spoiling anything here, but in the next episode, we're also all playing different, unique characters to keep the story moving. How do all of y'all keep these Aaron, hot dog vendor for sure, but also Matt and Mr. Allen and Male Teen 2, or were you Male Teen 1 and I was Male Teen 2? It doesn't matter, who cares? But we're playing individual characters in all of these episodes. Jason is really the only one he also plays characters here and there, but his character, the DJ, is really the only one who has been consistent throughout all of the episodes thus far. How do you guys keep them all? How do you juggle them all? How do you manage them all? How do you know when I'm coming back to Celeste, which we haven't come back to any of these characters yet, but when we do, what is that going to look like? Right?
They're all different people in my head. Like, they're all, like, Jamie is, kind of the teenager, with her friends, whatever. Like, she's that person. And then Celeste is a completely different kind of person.
Well, one of the things that I love about this, and I'm sorry to cut you off, every one of them sounds unique. Yes, they're different people in your head, but I guess that answers that question. So never mind. I'm just dumb.
Yeah, they all talk different. They all came from different backgrounds. They all have, for me, they all have a life of their own that I tap into when I need to perform them. What was that movie? Everything All at Once? Where they just hop into the different
everywhere,
people?
all at once.
Yes, that's what it's like for me when I jump into these characters. That's what it's like. I just jump into that person in that moment, and that's who it is.
I love it. Aaron, I know, talk about your characters.
I want to point out two things in regards to what you're saying. First of all, actually, I'm pointing out three things. Number one, get the freak out of my head, because I was actually going to talk about this. Number two, I think this goes back to some of, and I can say I think this goes back to some of our early training in a certain spot where we were learning together, as well as our own individual coaching where we have been receiving coaching. One of the best lessons that we've learned in our class sessions and in our coaching is that when you're going into a character, be the character, but be you. Don't impersonate. Be the character. So to Tiffany's point, we can be different characters and be ourselves, right? It's easy to identify Aaron's playing this character, Aaron's playing that character, Aaron's playing that character. But how we are playing these characters is completely different. Mr. Allen is very different from Matt Kaufman, who is very different from Male Teen 1. Does that make sense?
Yep, very much so.
Yes. And so that kind of goes to what we as our Articulate family have learned along the way, and we are still consistently in practice, whether it be in a workout or we're in a coaching session or we're doing this live, or it doesn't matter. I mean, our learning never stops, and we are always practicing what we're learning. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I'll point this out, is that our family has seen growth since the original recordings of many of these. So right now, to the listeners, it's going to seem like, geez, I'm Crow, Tiffany and Rob are in every freaking one of these things. However, that's okay. Number one, because they perform so damn well. And number two, as we proceed into the upcoming episodes, we are diversifying a little bit. Our family has gotten a little larger, as you could tell, like from my friend Sally, we had, good Lord, we had Sister Margaret, an Australian nun. We had Lizzie, who was my little sis Hannah. I mean, so we have a larger cast coming in. At episodes 6 through 10, you're going to hear voices you've never heard before. And it's like, who is this character? Who is that character? Adds to the spice of it all. It's really nice. So, yeah, it does seem like a lot of us are playing the same roles right now, but good Lord, man. I mean, we've all come such a long way as actors, as like I said in a couple episodes ago. We have these abilities to play multiple characters and still yet be ourselves, and that continues to gain in progression as time proceeds. Jason, your thoughts?
Boy, that is there's so much.
I know. Aaron
there's
rambles
so much
hard.
that I want. I don't know. I think I really just need to kind of go back to, like what this show is and what it means to me, and I will never not think about how Static Shift was born literally out of this group. And I've had lots of ideas for different things, for stories and things that would be cool to write or whatever. And they would get as far as a few sentences, and then I would sort of return to my regular life. But like I knew that I was in this group with these really talented people who could do a lot of things. And I really wanted this to be a showcase, amongst other things, but I wanted it to be somewhere where we could do what we do. We could kind of live in our individual zones of genius and use that to produce something. So when it comes to playing, like I knew I couldn't write a story where everybody just has one character. Like I wanted it to be more. I wanted it to be bigger. And why on earth would I try to shoehorn any of you into this is it. This is the only, character you're playing. And that goes back a little bit to the an original anthology. Pardon me. The idea for the show to be an anthology. As we get more complex, like you were saying with Aaron, bringing in additional cast members and just expanding not just the cast, but expanding the emotional palette, expanding the kind of stories we can tell. I feel like I would be a fool not to take advantage of the fact that Tiffany has got this incredible, stuffy old white woman voice, and she can do this killer Russian, and like she can do all of these things. So, when I'm looking at this initially, I'm like, let's use all the stuff we have. And as we grow in our skill and experience, that just gives all of us more options and more shades of different colors to kind of play with, to create these things.
That's a fantastic
and Tiffany
point.
has the best laugh.
Yes, she does. But it's it's a fantastic point, and that's why I brought up, because, when this initially began, we were a small family. So there were many, many characters and not a lot of people to play them. Now, I will point out something comical that has kind of become a trope. For anybody out there who's familiar with Elder Scrolls V Skyrim, there is a gentleman who voice acts in there, but he plays a lot of roles in the exact same way. There's no diversification of him being different characters. No. It's that it's this guy. He's playing this voice, but this voice is used along probably 10 characters. It's like this guy is in every kingdom, in every village. He's at least one blacksmith, and that's kind of the point I was trying to make to more or less be funny. It's important, and all the credit to our coaches and instructors from yesteryear for letting us know that you don't need to go into crazy voices or try to come up with one character and then be several characters with the same voice. You can be yourself. It's so important that you don't lose who you are with what you're trying to play, and you can still sound different. Does that make sense?
Right.
And I think every single one of us has grasped that lesson.
Right. No, you're 100% right. And I think one of the other additional advantages that we have is that we're constantly in each other's lives. So when we're coming up with these voices, we can kind of get together as a community and we can help workshop things. Does this work? I was thinking about trying it like this. And then we go through and we give and receive feedback, and we chisel away, and we find kind of the best version of what that person is able to do. which is an entirely different process than, okay, you got the part. Now you're going to record the lines on your own, and if there's something that we don't like, we'll ask for pickups. So I think with having a situation like we do, where we have the opportunity to engage in collaboration at that stage, at the stage where we're deciding who these characters exactly are, and how tall are they, and how do they carry themselves, and what kind of clothes do they wear. We can engage with like a dozen really freaking smart and creative people, and when we do that, it's the whole Voltron thing again. We're a hell of a lot stronger together than we are separately.
The freak we are.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting, too, that case in point was Celeste, but it's been with other people, too, where somebody has put something up for feedback, right? Like, hey, I'm trying to work on this voice. I'm trying to work on this audition for something or whatever. And, one of us, either Aaron or Jason or whatever, is like, oh, my God, I need that in this story, right? Like, that fits what I need in this story I'm making. So I think it's really cool that we have this kind of family type environment where we can put something up that we're working on. We're workshopping it for ourselves, right? And it ends up being something more bigger later down the line in a different production. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think creatively we kind of win when we put ourselves in that situation where you've got so many things to work with and to draw on. I was watching Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend, and Stephen Wright, who in my mind is probably like top 3 comedic minds of the last easily 50 years. To me, this guy is brilliant beyond brilliant. But he was talking about how ever since he was a little kid, like his head was constantly on a swivel for anything that was a little bit, like just had a little bit of weirdness in it, or something that was just a little bit tweaked from normal. And, that's interesting. And so he was talking about how he goes through life just like cataloging things, and he said when he was young, he would write them down. And then at some point he stopped, he didn't need to write them down anymore. He could just kind of automatically do it. But I love that so much. And I think when you're kind of open to just taking something and looking at it and saying, could this be something? And looking at it without judgment, without saying, trying to determine an exact value. And then you just put those things, you dump them all together and you look at them, you go through them, and you see if there's something there. And the number of times where I've found, if you want to be really cliche about it, inspiration in the least likely places, it happens all the time. It happens like there's so much out there that you can kind of use, so much raw material, but you have to kind of be open to it. And so that's where I try to be.
They say that tropes or cliches are that way because they are so prevalent.
For
right?
a reason, right.
100%. I love that. That's fantastic. The last thing I want to touch on this particular script and the episode is the offices of Global Consolidated. Now, I remember when we were recording originally, there was a little bit of a question as to whether that was a typo, because it's Global instead of global, a V instead of a B. I'm curious, is that a setup for something that we don't know anything about yet, or that I'm missing, or is it just a cool name?
The latter. It's
or is it just how Dr. Petrovich would say it? Global.
Well, okay. super nerds, listen up at this point because this one is for you. If there are anybody listening or watching, if you're familiar with Robotech.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah, I needed a name for the company, and I was trying to think of names, and I have a Robotech poster. It's about 4 feet behind me here, and oddly enough, it's third generation. It's not even the Macross saga, which features Captain Henry Gloval, Gloval. So I just stole the name from Robotech. That's as deep as that one goes.
I love
So
it.
it's someone's last name. I see.
Right. Let us also, in the spirit of derailing,
Robotech crossover confirmed.
Perfect.
let
Check mark.
us all, in the spirit of derailing this podcast, also mention that everybody is eating Global brand hot dogs.
That's right. Yeah,
And I'm done.
primarily, telecommunications and packaged meat is kind of their two big things.
So they're like the Cisco food distributor for the city.
Yes.
Yes, plus advanced
Wow.
telecommunications.
Perfect.
They have-
Obviously,
yeah.
those go together.
They have a lot of different departments. It's a big company.
Very interesting.
It's global, or global is global? Yes? That's a stretch. I'll stop now.
Also, Aaron, you can't derail a podcast that all of this is relevant to what we're talking about. So
You
none
can't
of it's been
derail a
derailed.
podcast that has no rails in the first place.
Exactly.
That's
and if
true,
I'm running
yeah.
the podcast, it's got no rails. So, does anybody else have anything that they want to talk about regarding episode 4, William?
Yeah. So I think Rob, we were gonna maybe talk about the title of this episode that
William.
we were gonna come back to. Yeah.
We were going to come back to that. So, what is the one other thing where the name came from? Because I remember you mentioning that right at the beginning.
Yeah. Pardon me.
Dr.
So,
William Ackers and one extra thing.
Yeah. So the episode is obviously called William. One of the reasons is because I didn't want to, look, I could have called the episode Uncle Larry, right?
Yes.
But that would have been, that I didn't want to be that on the nose, right? So his name is William, and the episode is about him.
Yeah.
So in one sense, that's where the name comes from. But I didn't initially, I figured out if I just make Lawrence his middle name, then I could use this one weird trick, right? Where it's a little bit of misdirection. But I needed a name. And so there's one thing that I actually haven't mentioned on this podcast yet, and I feel very remiss about this, or I feel very regretful that I haven't yet. But early on in the writing process, I find that if I put music on when I'm writing, it helps me write. And so since Static Shift is set in the 1980s, and I knew initially that I wanted it to be kind of music focused in a sense, and I wanted there to be a really 80s synthy sound, but a little darker. And that takes me to a band called Graveyard Club. They're from the Twin Cities. They're, I guess you'd call them indie pop. And they're absolutely incredible. I have all their albums on, vinyl records. And I first saw them
Tell me you live in Oregon without telling me you live in Oregon.
Oh, just wait till I start wearing a beanie on the podcast. And a flannel
I love
shirt.
vinyl, by the way. I'm just messing with you.
So I first saw him at the Minnesota State Fair at 1:30 in the afternoon, and here's this band that's got this really amazing, like textural synth kind of thing going. And I thought, this is criminal that this band is having to play at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon on, outdoors, like the sun is shining. I thought, I need to see this band in a club. Which
on the state fair circuit, no doubt.
Yeah.
Well, they were playing like a free stage.
Even better.
Yeah. So to be fair, Minnesota State Fair books some pretty serious musical acts. So you got to be somebody to play at the grandstand. But anyway, I fell in love with this band, and so I listened to their music a lot in the writing process, and when it came time to decide on a name, I'm going through the track list of the album and looking at the song titles, and one of the song titles, it's probably might be the best song on their album, Goodbye Paradise. It's called William, and I thought, why not make that the name of the episode?
I love
that. I love that.
And also, if you look real close on the Graveyard Club album Cellar Door, you'll find that there's a song called Nightcrawler on there. So some may find that an interesting tidbit.
So it's not my favorite Marvel character. Sad.
It's probably who the song was written for.
For legal reasons, no, it is not.
No, it's not.
Absolutely not.
Fair enough.
Well, my goodness, where has the time gone? Oh, wait, that's how the episode ended. All right, if nobody else has anything else to talk about with this episode, I love where that name came from. I love the One More Thing. That's actually super cool. I'm going to have to go and look that band up and start listening to some of their stuff.
Yes.
Particularly the William track, because I want to hear what that sounds like.
It's an incredible
Graveyard
song.
Club, you said.
Graveyard Club, yes. I will be happy to hook you up with some linkage.
Yes, please. That'd be great. Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of Resonant Frequency. If any of y'all listeners are, have any theories or have any feedback or want to just kind of ask us some questions about Static Shift, we'd be happy to bring your discussions here to the podcast. Just email staticshift@articulate.studio, and that's articulate with the number 8, not the ATE. And you can always get in touch with us for non-Static Shift related stuff. If you want auditions from any of us, custom auditions, or you want to look us up or get in touch with any of us for work-related things, contact@articulate.studio is another great email to send to. I keep asking everybody if they want my name at articulate.studio, but nobody's taken me up on that yet. So, unfortunately, we don't have everybody at articulate.studio yet, but I'm going to try and strong-arm everybody into doing that because I think that'd be a really easy way to get people in touch with us. But contact at articulate.studio and Static Shift at articulate.studio if you have anything relating specifically to Static Shift, or you just want to get in touch with the studio as a whole. We're happy to provide custom auditions. There are multiple genders, multiple tones and pitches, and anything that you're looking for, we probably have on our roster. We'd be happy to work with you.
And everybody on our roster is trained.
Yes,
and
we are all trained.
Experienced.
We all have professional broadcast quality studios, and
most importantly, we are human.
Yes. No AI, none of that garbage. All right, everybody, we'll see you on the next episode of Static Shift Resonant Frequency, and stay tuned this Wednesday for Static Shift Episode 5. I can't remember the name of it.
And remember, what's in your hut?
Dreamland?
It's called Dreamland, that's right. So I'm curious, Aaron, do hot dog vendors dream of electric sausages?
Buns?
Yes. Every single night.
Tiffany's giving me the look, but it's a callback, in case you don't know, Tiffany, to do Cyborg's Dream of Electric Sheep, which was the inspiration to Blade Runner.
Yeah, no, I don't know that reference. So.
Well, now let me just adjust my glasses. Now you know.
Now I know. Thank you.
All right, everybody, have a great one. We'll see you next week. Enjoy the next episode of Static Shift, and we're getting to the halfway point of season 1.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. If you don't follow us yet on whatever your podcast platform of choice, trademark is, go ahead and look us up and subscribe there. Follow us there. Have a good one, everybody. Bye.